Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GBA podcast. I don't think this is the... I knew you were going to do that, so that's why I just didn't say much. Yeah, you could probably tell who that was, but I will run down the people who are in this today, and then we'll get started. So first we got the man who just interrupted me, Joseph.
Am I supposed to introduce myself? I wasn't paying attention.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yes, you're supposed to.
I'm Joe, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelix and the Season 3 winner of the GBA.
Ooh.
Nostradamus over there. We got, hi, my name is
Joe
Matt.
Stradamus.
What's going on? You guys know me from Season 1 and 2 with the OKC Thunderous, and now I'm working behind the scenes.
Now,
doing
is the
stuff that way.
C in OKC, does that stand for choke? Or what is that?
Yeah,
He was ready.
I think so.
I'm just kidding.
I think so.
Okay, cool. Next we got Nick, who I'm surprised didn't interrupt me now, but usually does. So.
How's it going, guys?
Okay, next we got John, aka Pokemon.
Whoa! I didn't even get to unpack my trophy yet.
Oh no, and that's how I have to. Oh boy. Okay, I'm the Pelippers. That's yep. Okay,
Yeah.
just go back to Nick. It's fine.
The runner-up.
Once again, John comes after me.
We have the infant of the group, Roger,
Hi, I'm the Denver Bronzongs.
who actually surprisingly speaks very well for an infant. We also have Tony Danza, aka Crowbat for the win.
Yep, I'll keep this short. Hey, I'm Krober for the win, owner of the LA Nidokings.
All right, and then last we got Miguel, aka Mega Mogwai.
Hello, Marill. Miguel is shorter than me.
Oh, in Spanish.
All right, so we have got quite a lot to talk about today. So first we'll be talking about our individual draft grades. We'll be talking about the best picks that we all felt were in the draft, some undervalued mons, some overvalued mons, and the best Pokemon that didn't get picked in the draft and that are free agents right now. So I guess we might as well start with individual draft grades, and I think we should start with the champion himself, Nick, aka Super Bloss. So you can go ahead and start us off, Nick. Talk about your draft.
Well, I was pretty confident going in that I'd be able to get the two main things that I wanted, which were Hippowdon and Gardevoir.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Gardevoir went, I think, 5th overall, the Shady Penguin.
Yeah.
And that was kind of deflating. And then after Gardevoir went, and then Entei went, I was like, maybe Clefable will accidentally, slip and fall to me. That didn't happen either, so I was like, all right. So I abandoned the fairy plan, grabbed Hippowdon. I saw some really good opportunity to get some speed and power with Hawlucha, who got some nice tutor moves as well. And I was able to round out in the end of the 3rd round with Scolipede, which I thought was really great value and provided me with some, neat tricks that I could pull off. And I think it complemented the rest of my guys pretty well. So, pretty happy with it.
So what about your mega pick? Who'd you decide to go with there?
Well, you see, I was cursed with a very low draft pick in Mega Draft.
Shut up.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I made a depth chart of 3 megas, and
Nick,
both
if
of
you
them
say
were
that
picked
you got,
for me.
he's gonna do it.
So
He's gonna do it.
I got double sniped,
Shut the fuck up.
and it was
Someone
pretty
kick him. Someone kick him.
And no.
It's gonna take him like 15 minutes to join.
Yeah, exactly.
In reality, it was either Mega Mawile or Mega Scizor that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get Mega Mawile, obviously, so I got Mega Scizor, which in the long run kind of helps me out because I
You
get
got
a few
Moto though. So
I did.
I'm sorry. He got what?
That's Spanish for
Moto the
Hippowdon.
Hippowdon. Everybody knows who Moto is.
Look, calm down. Look, listen, little Shady Penguin, calm down.
Little?
Well, yeah, you are quite literally little.
So you are
Little.
He's like a shady ducklet.
Oh yeah, dude, no, he's pretty tall actually. Yeah. That's true.
Shady ducklet. All right.
Yeah,
Hi,
so,
honey.
so Scizor gave me a defogger, which I didn't have, and I kind of needed. And also get to boost up my Volt turn ratio. So that's pretty nice.
So what would you grade if you had to say, like, like a classroom grading system, what would you put for that draft?
Honestly, given my position at the end of the first round, and then also factoring in the wheel and the separation between the second and third picks, I would probably go with a B plus. I think I didn't fill as many needs as I could have in regards to typing and resistances and weaknesses, but I think the core that I already had allowed for me to make some riskier picks.
Mm-hmm. Now, I agree with what you would grade your draft. I think that's a fair assessment. But does anybody else here think that maybe Nick's being a little too optimistic or a little too pessimistic about his draft?
No, I'd give him a solid rate on his picks. I mean, Skolopi definitely put in work for me. Nothing does what Halucha does, and fighting spam is something that if you don't have it, fighting spam to me is almost equivalent to flying spam. Obviously, they're two different things, but something that can just spam high jump kick is unmatched. And I mean, obviously, there's things like close combat, and then Hippowdon is just a really solid mon. So I'd give him a B plus.
Well, I was surprised he didn't take Hariyama back. Halucha, I thought, was, especially with Unburden, I thought high jump kicks and some other good stab options. I thought that was still a good pick. Yeah, B plus seems fair.
Okay, yeah, I think everybody's in agreement. I think Nick had a very solid draft. So might as well go with the next guy up. We'll go with the runner-up of GBA Season 2. We'll go with John. How'd you feel about your draft?
I felt a lot better than I thought I was going to feel about it. I mean, I lost my two best things, and I have the second last pick in the first round. I wanted Starmie, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get it. Tom's been talking about it. Joe needs a water spinner. It's a good mon. It's one of the best things. I thought that was available. And, Tom went with, I don't know what Tom went with, not that. And then Joe decided he wanted a different water spinner with less weaknesses, and it fell to me. I got Starmie, the one thing I wanted, and it gave me speed that I needed. It gave me some special offense I needed. It's got not a ton of versatility, but it has enough special moves where it's going to be really nice to use, and a much-needed spinner and water resist, so that was really nice. Another thing, because I'll get into the draft, I did trade right before the draft and got Gudra, so that did also, and I got rid of Rotom H, so that helped with that water weakness I always bitched about all season. But Nick goes, and he takes the two good things, Hippowdon, Halucha. And I was looking at Halucha, but when it got to me, because I wanted another fighting type, but fighting types are always good in this. And I noticed that Breloom was still not picked. I was thinking about maybe Jirachi, maybe Florges, but I just didn't feel like I could not take Breloom. It's just such a good mon. There's no way it would fall to the third round. And it's going to be a great mon to have going forward. I thought it was a grass type. I didn't have one of those. Another fighting type would always be good. And it's something that I'm going to love to have for 3 years. I didn't want to just get something that might be a little bit of a better fit for the rest of the season when I could just get something that's going to be really solid for the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I got to my final pick. I wanted a steel type. It would have been nice for the team, but it was one of the last picks in the draft. There was no good steel, or at least there's no steel types that I really wanted, especially for 3 years left. So I decided to go with Rhyperior to stop bird spam a little bit, and Rhyperior is just a really good mon. It's going to be nice to have another thing that can use Stealth Rocks. Really offensive, has a 140 attack, I'm pretty sure, and I'm really happy to have it. I like Solid Rock, and I think that's going to be good. We got to the Mega Draft, and like Nick, I had a really good pick. I got sniped a few times, but I decided...
About 14 times.
Oh, God. I had the last pick, and I ended up getting Mega Sableye, so, I mean, Chris was right. Everyone was going to get a good Mega. There's a few things I wish I could have got, and then there's a few things I kind of hoped I would have got, and then I just gave up and decided I was going to look at the draft.
But regardless, so, you got literally one of the best Megas out there.
I did. Yeah. And the thing is,
best.
It's not going to be, as scary as some of the other Megas, but everyone's going to have to prepare for it, and that's what I really wanted to get.
It's going to be scarier. It's the scariest Mega out there. Mega say, I don't know people. I don't think people realize how good that thing is. Like they want to ban it from OU. Like it's really.
This is why I'm happy he's in the GBA. Look at that. He's already backing me up, and I haven't even finished. I like this guy. Like, right?
No, it's like my pick was between Gardevoir or Sableye. Gardevoir fits.
I wanted Mega Gardevoir.
Yeah.
But, I really like Mega Sableye. It's going to be something everyone has to prepare for, and it's going to be nice to have something with Magic Bounce. So now I have a spinner and something with Magic Bounce that's going to help with Talonflame. Hopefully that'll be pretty nice, but we'll see. So, that's my draft, and I have to grade it now.
Yeah, what would you give it?
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I can go into the A range, but I guess I'll go B plus like Nick. I had nothing sniped. The number one thing I wanted for the team I got, and I don't know if I can say the team's better than last year, but it's more versatile, and I like it better. I'm more comfortable with the things I have, and I'm excited for the team.
Okay. I wouldn't be as hard on your draft as you were. I actually liked it a lot. I'd probably say like an A minus would be sufficient. I really I was looking at Rhyperior in that third round.
Me too.
I decided to go in a different direction, but I think Rhyperior was a really good pick. And I think Mega Sableye definitely, like, in terms of sheer value, was a really great pick. And then you got Breloom, which has awesome priority, all that stuff. Starmie, who is one of the best spinners in the game. I feel you really fulfilled a lot of needs on your team.
Starmie was huge.
Yeah, I think your draft really supplements what you have on your team.
For your team, Starmie's just fucking perfect.
I think Breloom helps him out too because it gives him options outside of just Conkeldurr for fighting moves, as well as it gives him grass resist in terms of sleep moves, powder moves, leech seed. While not incredibly common in the GBA, having that ability is nice because you do run into situations where you're now who's going to sleep, you know?
I think for the quality of the Mons themselves and how good they are, I'd give you an A or an A minus rank, but for the Mega Pick, which obviously this is included in a Mon that is good at what it does, I don't feel like it synergizes with your team just because you don't really have anything to switch into offensive fairy types unless you want to count Talonflame or Nidoking, but those aren't really switches. So while the Mon itself is a great Mon, I'm not necessarily sure it's the best for your team. And I say that being aware that you didn't have everything to pick from.
Yeah. It's fair, and that's I got down to the Mega Pick, and I was like, I kind of want to go with a Steel type, and I looked at him and was like,
I feel like people are too afraid to pick Aggron and Steelix. They're really good, but people just don't want to pick them because they're not Mawile and Scizor and a Charizard or something, you know?
To be fair, Aggron was picked already.
Yeah,
right, but
but
I'm saying if it was there, would you have picked Aggron over Sableye?
Yeah. He was.
Should have taken Steelix, man.
I did consider Steelix. I just thought
he already has a Rhyperior though, right?
I didn't think I would bring it to many matches, and I thought, well, at least, I mean, last season, if I was going to complain about having one weakness that was a lot more common than Fairy, and I did as well as I did, then I think I can.
Assault Vest Nidoking, bruh. So it's good.
maybe not that.
I ran Assault Vest Roserade, so you can run Assault Vest on pretty much anything in the GBA.
It's true.
I feel like it.
I mean, at the same time, there aren't that many. There aren't that many fairy types.
You have to make it a BT pun, though.
Yeah. But I think we're all in agreement. I think John also did very well in terms of his drafting. So
I went with an A minus for John just because I also included the pickup of Goodra since it kind of happened in the same span. I know it's draft, but I was looking more at the overall what you did during the off season.
Yeah.
But I think dropping Rotom H was huge because Goodra's just so much more valuable to his team, and it's got really good abilities. He'll probably end up using. I don't want to talk about it because it'll probably impact one of the games in the season. But
especially considering
Goodra has multiple abilities.
Sap Sipper is great. Gooey is good. They're all hydration. They're all fucking great.
Yeah. He did fix his huge water weakness, so I think even just for that alone, and he got good pokes in the process, he deserves an A minus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with a nickname like Winnie the Goo, you can't go wrong.
Oh, okay, A plus, instant A plus, right there.
I thought you named it Cum Dumpster.
No, Gubs, no, we went over this. No.
Isn't that your mom's nickname though?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Oh shit!
Things just got real. They just got real Marill.
Well, I didn't know he was named his mom's things in my Google search bar. What?
Go on to Miguel's draft.
Actually, no. I think we should save the expansion teams for last because that's the most to go over. So.
Kick him to the back again. Good idea.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, I guess we could just go in order of finish. So I guess I could just go. I'll go.
Segways.
I mean, if we're talking about great people,
if we're talking about the best draft, no. But yeah, as y'all know, I'm the best, and I did it. So I got the first overall pick.
It's so
I
fucked
still
up.
can't believe that happened.
No, but I traded during the season.
Oh, which team are you again?
I'm the Arizona D-Oxys. Yeah.
Never heard of them.
No, me neither. Me neither.
They're that team you never see on the national televisions because like they don't make it to the final.
They must play on Telemundo.
We're the Denver Nuggets of the GBA. We never get on national TV. We make the playoffs, and we don't do anything in the playoffs. Pretty much how it goes. So, yeah, but somehow I swindled the first overall pick from Fizz. You know, got Scrammery out of it.
Yeah, we all knew that was happening.
I think it was a good pick. I think it adds a lot to my team because it was there before and it worked. So, yeah, not much to say. It Stealth Rocks, it Defogs, it Whirlwinds, it can do that. And Brave Bird. And set up spikes if it wants to. I think overall it just does a lot for my team.
You're
it's a
still on Skarmory?
I think you should write the Smogon individual
All right, I'm
analyses.
gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
I mean,
and owe
I
you
didn't
an
interrupt
interruption.
anybody. Like nobody else got interrupted.
So-
Why am I getting interrupted here? I feel
Because
Intro.
this is
I'm trying.
all right.
I'm trying. Okay.
Yeah, I had
but-
no choice but to give you
I
an
wanna kill-
outstanding,
I'm strangling my microphone right now.
an outstanding.
Shut up!
Then he picked the water dog, and then he picked the
No,
bar.
shut.
We
I
done?
don't want to talk.
Yeah.
All right, let him go.
All right. I need a physical wall, like dedicated. Skarmory fits that role. It's a steel type and all that stuff.
You're
That's
still
a
on
box.
Skarmory?
Can I finish talking about it? Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Skarmory was a good pick.
This is longer than Inuyasha.
Oh my.
Except Inuyasha accomplished more.
Niggas.
You do realize I can edit this, right? I'll just cut all this bullshit.
Kagome!
So, all right. I picked Vaporeon with my second pick in the second round. It was third overall. I felt like it was a good pick. I don't feel like a lot of teams needed bulky waters, and that's why it fell to me. So I just feel like because it can do so much, has that bit of offensive capability as well, it added a lot to my team. I needed a water immunity because I lost Gastrodon, so I just think overall it adds a lot to my team. The electric weakness kind of stinks, but oh well. And then last of the regular Mons, I got Volcarona. I picked that sheerly as just like a value pick and offensive presence. I felt like I really needed something with a lot of power there because I did go a bit more defensive.
And somehow it dropped.
Yeah, I guess it's just because people overlooked it. Maybe they forgot about it. I don't know. But it fell to me.
You were futuristically hate drafting my Mega Scizor. That's what you were doing.
I mean, yeah. You know, because
Clearly.
Scizor is a great option against my team anyway, with a Mawile and a Skarmory and a Vaporeon.
Shut up, Gubs.
He'll just run fire moves on it. Calm down.
So
Didn't
I
power fire Scizor.
I really like the Volcarona pick. I felt it was good value, and having that for 3 years is pretty damn nice. So, and then last, I paid Chris a few dollars to get me first overall in the Mega Draft. No, but I did get the first Mega Draft pick, and I decided to go Mawile. I really didn't care about team synergy or anything like that. I just wanted something.
He just wanted the most broken thing available.
He just wanted like to finish like fourth in the entire league
and still
have the
lose.
best record and differential, and then get the first pick in each draft because that's fair.
What he decided to do is not take one for the team and draft.
You know what else is? Yeah, because it's totally fair that you can trade the 7th round pick for Aegislash. That's fair.
That was all about team synergy.
That was all about pissing off Steve. That's all that was.
And we have the.
Not confirm or deny that.
We have two.
I had to be the stone cold to Steve's Vince McMahon just once.
Yeah, but I really like the Mega Mawile pick. I mean, how could you not? It's a great Mega.
It's overrated.
Shut up.
I agree.
I really thought about Pinsir though, just because you know how well it did perform, and I kind of
also,
I was a bit sentimental, but I decided to let my better judgment prevail and decided to go Mawile. Also thought about Scizor there, but I just like Mawile more because of Sucker Punch, I guess, over Bullet Punch. I don't know. I just felt like Mawile. So overall, I grade my draft probably I graded an A+ in my video, so I guess I'll just say A+. So go ahead and have at me, guys. I know you're gonna really turn me into.
I'm gonna start.
Right.
I'm gonna give him a fucking minus, a B minus, because he cheated and swindled his way to the top. You are Eddie Guerrero, and if you don't know who Eddie Guerrero is, too bad. Reference is lost.
My last name is Guerrero too.
That's such a shock.
Just wanted to give
no,
some
that's so surprising.
Which one of your last names, Miguel? How many do you have?
Is De La Rosa Banderas?
I'm
Sombrero is one of his.
I'm Guerrero
Sombrero Ludicolo Guerrero Martinez.
Okay. I'm Miguel Guerrero Sombrero.
Okay, hold on. So, for Gubs' picks, I feel like while Skarmory and Vaporeon add an electric weakness to his team, when you have things like Snorlax and Porygon, you don't really have an electric weakness because there is no Mon that learns an electric move that can break through either of those, whether it be physical or special. So for his team synergy, I guess is pretty good, and he does have Landorus, so even if he for some reason did have an electric weakness, he has a fucking Landorus. I wouldn't say Volcarona was as good of a pick as the rest of it, simply because Volcarona isn't... it's not what the rest of his team is, which is just fat shit that doesn't die, and Volcarona can kind of fucking die. But in that, I guess Volcarona does synergize with the things that he has, because Volcarona could be weak to certain fire things, and obviously flying. Vaporeon and Skarmory, not at all weak to either of those with the two in tandem. So for his overall pick and the letter grade that I would give it, I guess I'd give it an A minus.
I'll take it.
Just because I don't want to give Gubs an A plus inflate his peen.
I love you, Joe.
I don't like you at all.
I love you.
If I may talk...
You may not.
Sorry.
not.
I guess I'm going to stop then.
E-League scrub.
Roger.
You're a
Roger.
fat one.
Roger.
You just gotta watch him.
Roger.
All right, go on.
Speak.
Alright,
child.
so Gubs just, with Skarmory and Vaporeon just added to his gross stall team, and Volcarona is just kind of there because he felt like it should have gotten drafted already, so he just kind of picked it with no real reason, and Mega Mawile is fucking overrated as shit, so it was a bad pick.
Oh wow, really?
Give him a B minus.
Really?
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 I mean, Mega Mawile gave you problems in the D-League, though.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Nah, it was a shit pick.
I didn't touch on Mega Mawile, but I think that's a shit pick because fuck Gubs for getting number one and fuck for picking.
I just bring myself to grade this. How do you grade the best player, at least record-wise, in the regular season 2 years in a row? Two number one picks. How do you grade that? Like, it's not an A plus. That's just two Gubs.
Hold on, John. I think you're just jealous that you weren't number one.
I think
At least I could be number one at something, John.
I think that for future fairness, that the Mega Draft should be randomized yet weighted, wherein playoff teams cannot be in the top 5. Boom.
Okay.
I
That doesn't. We're talking about right now. What? Come
Anyway,
on.
let's continue.
No. Didn't Gubs? Wasn't it Gubs' idea to redo the draft?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was, but I felt that way from the very start. I didn't feel that. We're not talking about this, though. We're talking about just what
I
happened.
only felt that way once you got Mega Mawile.
So please, if anybody else has something to say, please say it.
Yes.
I am
There you
big.
go, Danza, please.
I was going to say, we didn't really mention Vaporeon too much. I really feel like that was actually a really good pick to get in the second round. It's good defensively, it's good specially defensively, has a solid special attacking stat, and it has really good synergy with some of the stuff you have on your team.
It's got a great special attacking stat.
Okay.
Isn't that basically what I just said? It has a good special attacking
Please,
stat.
that's solid. I wouldn't say solid.
Well, I would kind of agree in the sense that it is solid because you're probably not going to be investing a lot into
Specs
it.
Vaporeon,
I have a
you don't
legitimate
even know.
But you don't need to. You don't need to invest for Skull to be powerful.
It has great synergy with things like Celebi and Snorlax, so...
Yeah, especially with Celebi.
Gubs, was Gastron already picked by the time you picked
No,
Vaporeon?
I considered it, but I felt like Vaporeon just overall was more bulky.
I just remember you said you had
Vaporeon is overall better.
Yeah.
Well, he just said he had an electric weakness, so I was just wondering, like...
Yeah.
Like I was going to pick Vaporeon like originally in the first draft ever.
I mean,
like,
the only problem that I see with your draft is you're kind of vulnerable to Volturn.
Oh yeah, but I've always been vulnerable to Volturn.
Yeah, but the thing is, Miguel, not everybody has Volturn and plays Volturn and wants Volturn teams and prays on the fact that they have a Volturn team.
Not mine.
Well,
No words! And on that day, there was nothing to be said.
I do have a Landorus who resists U-turn and as a
Volt and turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it resists Volt and Turn.
But,
everything that Volt tends to beam as well.
I love Gubs, but I feel like it might be time to move on.
Yeah, we definitely should.
And in this, and to cap this, shut up, Gubs.
Thank you. Yes. All right, now I will speak because I am the host. So, Joe, your turn.
Oh yeah, I'm in this too.
Joe, please talk about your trades because your team is so different now.
Okay, so basically me and Gubs had like the league's biggest trade. We traded quite literally half of our teams. It gave me a little more offense and less bulk. Obviously, I don't have to say the second part if I say the first part, but it gave me a little bit more offense, which changes my team a lot. And as I've said before, I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad, but I now have... Oh, I also traded Haxorus for Flygon to
Danza.
to Danza. Yep. And
Other way around.
I feel like... Shut up. I got Haxorus, he got Flygon, and I feel like that adds a little bit to my team. It takes away a little bit, but Flygon didn't end up doing what I wanted it to when I drafted it. So for my first pick, I picked Blastoise. And when I did that, everybody kind of questioned it because they're like, why wouldn't you take Starmie, which was available? And the reason I didn't take Starmie is because it adds too many weaknesses to my team. One of those being Dark and Bug. That isn't a widespread weakness to my team, but it's just not something I needed for my team. And while it was a fighting resist that I could have used, typically things that have a fighting move are coupled with Dark and Flying being something my team is weak to. So I didn't want Starmie. So I picked Blastoise, which had been on my radar for a while. It's a solid mon. It doesn't do everything well, but it kind of does everything, in mediocrity. And it's a spinner, and I wanted a spinner for my team, not a defogger, so I picked Blastoise. My second pick was Jirachi. This is my favorite pick. I thought it was the best one in my whole thing. Jirachi is probably one of the most versatile 100 BST legendaries in my opinion. I know things like Celebi and Mew you think be special, physical, defensive in every way, but Jirachi it can be Spadef, physically defensive, and plus the hacks chance given with everything that it uses are just ridiculous. Like, sure, I'm going to use that. Like, there's no reason not to. Like, I shouldn't feel bad. That's what it does. If I have to scarf flinch somebody down, you're goddamn right I'm going to do it.
But you won't, though. Your luck's not good enough.
No, it's not. So there's really no reason for me to try. And then Florges. Now, when I got to Florges, Rhyperior was still open, and I considered drafting Rhyperior to cover a flying weakness on my team. But what Rhyperior added to my team was more weaknesses that I didn't want. I had an electric weakness as well, and I figured there's nothing really that's attacking with an electric move that is going to kill Florges. Florges was a decent mon for my team, and I just wanted something bulky. And then I figured, hey, everything on my team is from UU, so let's just get a fucking Florges, right? And then the Mega Draft came to me, and I had considered drafting things like Aggron and Steelix and some less powerful things, but then I decided Beedrill is Bork. It's very strong. Obviously, everyone has something on their team for it, but it just adds a lot of offense to my team. It gives me a very, very, very frail mon, which I don't know if is good for my team because things like Pursuit will fuck it up, but I really like Beedrill. I've used it a lot, so I wanted it on my team. If I had to rate my overall draft, by Jirachi alone, I'd give myself an A++, but because I also have a Blastoise and a Beedrill, I guess I'd have to give myself B+ or an A-, depending on whose grading scale you're using.
Okay. Anybody dispute that?
That's a very fair assessment. I actually had Jirachi for half of last season, a little over half of last season, and I can attest to how versatile it is and how strong it is. Hack's chance worked in my favor on several occasions last year, and I know I've caught some people off guard with some of the moves that I use, so I think it'll service your team well.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
I hope you do. Did Shady draft Tentacruel before you drafted Blastoise, or was it the other way around?
I
was in the second round.
Can you read the spreadsheet?
I also didn't want Tentacruel.
Yeah, he did want Tentacruel.
I specifically wanted a pure water type. I know... Like, yeah. I understand that as a Pokemon, point for point, not even that, but what it does, Tentacruel is probably better. It has more offense. It's way faster. It's bulkier. It's bulkier on one side, but I didn't want the extra typing. I wanted a pure water type.
Honestly, their bulk is probably similar.
Honestly, I don't understand. I know you wanted a pure water type, but I don't see how Tentacruel's poison type would affect you in a
defensively,
way.
it's just gonna give you so much more resistances. you have a lot of floating things too, so you don't have to worry about. Well, actually,
the only thing I can really see is like the added.
You only have tornadoes. That's true.
The added ground weakness kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, he has a shaman, guys. Like
he has a shaman and
but he has an E-Tran and he has a Jirachi
and a Heracross. But like when you think about it, I was thinking about it too. I have a lot of things that are weak to ice on my team, but I'm not going to use them all in the same battle every week.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when I do, I'll have 1 or 2 ice resists, sometimes even 3 ice resists, to where it doesn't matter if I have 6 ice weaknesses because the other 5.
I mean, I don't think Blastoise is not a bad Pokemon. I just think it's outclassed because Tentacruel can do like more things. It can set up Toxic Spikes.
I disagree though.
Blastoise has priority. A lot
that's true.
That's fair. Blastoise is a good mon.
I mean, Blastoise
does have good mixed attack. I mean, it hits from physical and special side again.
I understand that I wouldn't call them equivalent. I think Tentacruel's slightly better, but again, they don't completely do the same thing. And if I end up regretting the pick, then sure, it'll be completely my fault. And I was aware of that when I picked it. It's a Blastoise. I get that. There's a reason it hasn't been picked for 3 seasons, but I wanted a spinner, I wanted a pure water type, and Blastoise is bulky. If I had the option, I would have picked a Swampert with Rapid Spin, but that can't happen, so...
Well, the only reason I gave your draft a lower, like a B minus C plus, is because you could have waited till the 3rd round. You could have got Blastoise in the 3rd round, and you could have gotten something better than Florges in the 1st round, and you would have been a lot better.
There were no fairies.
I mean, Florges is pretty good.
I think the notion that you need a fairy is just misguided.
No, but if you want a fairy, Florges isn't a bad decision to make.
I needed something that could take certain types of moves.
Yeah, and fairy's the best typing out there. Like, if you can get a solid fairy, there's no reason not to get one.
A fairy doesn't hurt my team. What on my team is really weak to poison and steel, and what commonly carries poison and steel.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, with my
the only thing I can see the black. Like, my only concern is that you perhaps.
I wanted to speak.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
Goddamn, guys!
Right?
Like, you can just wait for somebody to finish and start. Like,
well, I mean, I had started and he talked over me. Don't take his start.
Right now.
Don't take his side.
I'm so fresh, you can sell. Okay, John and Miguel. John and Miguel.
Well, with the Blastoise, I didn't think at first. I didn't think it was the best pick. I didn't think it was a bad pick. I was a little confused the earliness of it, but I felt like the Jirachi pick was one of the best picks in the 2nd round, if not the best pick itself, and that. Not made up for it if Blastoise really fits the team. I do have to wonder if it's going to be the best thing for 3 years, but
no, definitely not. I'll probably sack it next season, but
that's the one thing I'm worried about with that pick. But I think the Jirachi Florges was really good.
Jirachi's
and then the Mega Beedrill, I feel like you were in the middle, right, when your draft pick for Megas?
6, I think.
Oh, it was one of the first.
No, I was 6.
He was 6th.
All right. I feel like with the Mega Beedrill, a lot of people didn't understand it. I don't completely understand it, but I'm thinking it gives you U-turn, it's speedy, and it's one of those things you don't have to bring it to every battle, and you didn't need a Mega to bring to every battle. You had a team of things you liked already, but it's going to be something you can bring to some battles. It has a lot of moves that are really going to help you out, and I think its speed tier is going to be great. Obviously, you're not going to leave it in and get bullet punch. Everyone's like, oh, you can kill it with priority. Well, it's not going to fucking leave it in for a bullet punch.
It's got reasonable special bulk. People forget that, and it outspeeds a lot of Scarfers, like obviously not base 100s, but it outspeeds a lot of things that people would Scarf to throw other people off. Mm-hmm. While that's not always going to be, that's not always going to happen, it's really fucking fast, and it's really fucking strong.
Yeah, I think your draft was great. I'd give it a B, only because I think you made the 1st round water pick that was a little odd again. Or did you pick Slow King 2nd round?
King was 2nd.
The 3-year weird water again.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good this season, but I think next
season... Slow King is going to put in more work for me this season. I've already looked at it. I've already looked at it. Yeah, okay.
All right, on to Danza's team.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, I'll just jump right into it. My draft. Entei is what I got first. Entei is all about Sacred Fire Burns. It really messes with people's heads and switches and stuff. All of a sudden, things like Rhyperior or Haxorus or even walls with physical attacks, they really don't want to switch in. It has at least a workable move pool. Not the best, but Sacred Fire is what you're spamming most of the time anyways. And Extreme Speed is really, really nice. That's a nice addition to the team. I also grabbed Tangrowth. I needed something to replace the departed Mega Venusaur. It's a defensive grass type, and my choice was kind of between Rotom Cut and Tangrowth, but I think Regenerator and the ability to go mixed sealed the deal. Tangrowth is kind of unpredictable if I can use its move pool correctly, because it does have a bunch of physical and special moves at its disposal. Granbull's next. Another pretty interesting pick. Underrated, I'd say. It's a fairy. That's kind of the biggest part about it. Also has Intimidate, a solid attack. Always been a long-time favorite of mine as well. Its typing and roll, they fit the team synergy, I think. It acts as a cleric, and it can pack a punch, especially within the small pool that we had. And I believe it fits the needs of the team. It might seem one-dimensional, but I've been playing testing with a bunch of different sets, and I'm thinking it's more versatile than it looks. Looking forward to using that as well. When we jump into the Mega Draft, before going into the Mega Draft, I had known from Chris that I had a pretty low pick. I believe it was 4. And there were kind of 3 I was considering, and top 3 anyways were Mawile, Pinsir, and Scizor. Mawile was taken first, but Pinsir was still there, and didn't even need to worry about Scizor because I ended up, Scizor got taken anyways, so I ended up with Pinsir. Mega Pinsir hits like a beast. Gubbs can speak from it firsthand. I believe it led the league in kills last year, right?
Yeah. It was 23 and 7.
Right. So this is where my draft drastically improved, in my opinion. I knew that there was one kind of major flaw in my team, was that it kind of lacked some power hitters. So I think Mega Pinsir kind of tipped the scale back in favor of having more power hitters, and it was just an obvious choice at the time, and it must be prepared for every week. It's really scary. Overall, I'd say my draft, probably a B+. I managed to get Mega Pinsir. That was huge. And I got some dynamic new options for my team, Entei Sacred Fire especially. I do think that I have threats that need to be prepared for, and nothing I have should be taken lightly. I shall now entertain comments or questions. Go at it.
All right. I'm gonna go for a sec here.
Did we tell you to speak?
Speak only when
I'll go in the corner again.
Baby
Go, Robin.
Isn't it past his bedtime?
I have to agree with you. I think Entei was a very, very solid first round pick. I think it's just, you have to prepare for Entei. You have to know what you want to do against it, or else it's just going to destroy your team. Tangrowth, I know you're talking about Rotom Cut. I definitely think Tangrowth was a better option. I hope no one drafted Rotom Cut, because that thing is shit. And Granbull, I think, is...
the Marill.
I think it's very good. And Pinsir, of course, we all know, is just a powerhouse. So I think you did a very good job. I'd give you probably an A- for that draft. I think you did a good job.
All right, I'm going to go. I'm a big fan of Entei. I considered picking it last season. I know a lot of people don't want to pick it because it only does one thing, but I don't feel like people have enough experience with Entei. Entei is bulky as shit, and people forget that. And Assault Vest Entei is going to be great on his team for anything that's specially offensive and isn't using water or ground. And there's a lot of water, not a lot of ground. It's going to be a really good mon for him. I think it's going to put in a lot of work, whether it's Bandit or bulky. A Red Sawks set could even work, especially with Sacred Fire because the PP is so low. Tangrowth, I'm not a big fan of the pick because it's basically a physically defensive monster, and while I understand that it has mixed capabilities and can even go special, you do have a Gliscor. And for the same reason, I don't understand the Granbull pick. I like Granbull. I've used it a lot. I know what it does. In combination with Gliscor, I suppose it could be good because Gliscor is really only weak to physical... Well, I mean, we're not talking about special, but it's only weak to ice and water. And you can switch Granbull into most of the things that do that, but again, you have a Gliscor. Whether you needed the Granbull, I don't know, but because it is versatile, like you said, I'll give it that. I think you're going to be disappointed by the power of its versatility. Like, it learns really odd moves that are going to be useful, given that it used to be a normal type. I think you're going to be disappointed by the power of its versatility, even though it can do all of those things. But then you got Mega Pinsir. That thing is broke as fuck, and like you said, everybody is forced to prepare for it. If you don't have something on your team or you don't consider it, you're just going to lose to it. So I think half of what you picked I'm a big fan of. The other half I'm not opposed to. I'm just questioning it. I'm concerned with it. If it does work, that's good. I'm glad. But I say overall for your draft, I'd give it a B. probably a B-. I'm not sure how well some of these things are going to do for your team, but because you picked two things that I feel are going to do very well for your team, I'm going to give it about a B. B-.
All right. I really liked your draft aside from Granbull. Like Joe said, I think Granbull is just a little underwhelming for your team. Like, I think it could do some things, like with its cleric capabilities and stuff. I just think it's not quite fast enough to fulfill like a fantastic offensive role on a team, especially your team. Like, I think you'll struggle to fit it in because you already have a ton of powerful physical attackers. Like, Gliscor really in a vacuum could be more powerful because of Sword Stance and its higher speed. But everything else, like Entei, I love. I don't really like the spot. Like, Entei's not a Pokemon for me I'd pick in the first round. But like if it had fallen to the third round, especially where I was picking, I was going to take that thing over Volcarona, no doubt. Like, I think Entei's a fantastic addition to any team. Tangrowth is also really solid. I really can't find any fault with that pick as well. I mean, you can worry about synergy all you want. At the end of the day, it comes down to the Pokemon themselves, and really Tangrowth doesn't open up any huge synergy holes on your team, so I really like the Tangrowth pick as well. Mega Pinsir, as we all know, is just straight power. You don't have to worry about anything with Mega Pinsir. It's going to kill things. It's just a matter of how you want to go about it. So I think overall, I'd rate your draft an A-. I really think there's some good picks there. I just think the Granbull pick kind of weighs it down. Like, if you hadn't picked Granbull, I'd go probably to an A for your draft, and if you had gone with something else, like, because Florges was available there, and I felt like if you wanted a fairy type, that probably would have been a better pick to go with. But oh well, we'll just we'll have to see how it goes during the season. But I think it was a good draft. So
all right, I have, I guess, what seems to be a radically different opinion of this draft.
Oh God.
Including, I can't not include the trade
Flygon,
because the trade set up his entire draft.
Oh, we're just talking about the draft, though.
No, well, they set up his draft. He traded his third overall pick for, he traded down in the draft. And he ended up with two, mid-tier things when he could have gotten one elite thing, and that would have made up for it much more because Tangrowth probably wouldn't have went in the entire draft if he didn't pick it.
I don't think so.
He says he needed power, but he traded power away. So, well, he got rid of Haxorus. Haxorus is the epitome of power. He traded Gyarados for Cobalion, which I guess it's kind of okay, but I don't think that suits his team better than, there's some redundancy there.
The problem with Gyarados is that just everyone had electric type moves thrown everywhere, so it eventually just became so ineffective that I didn't want to deal with it.
Theoretically, that shouldn't be an issue for your team. You have enough. You have Raikou, you have Flygon, you have Gliscor.
The thing is the unexpected HP Electrics and shit like that.
Well, yeah. Well,
I ran HP Electric on like four things when I played it both times.
If you're really that concerned, you need to play smarter about it. And
four-time weaknesses are a burden in the GBA way more than the standard play. And you have to take that into consideration. I would never draft a Ferrothorn. When Ferrothorn is one of the best mons in OU, I don't think it's that good here because of that quad weakness.
Also, I have to say that you probably could have, waited a little bit on some of your picks. Maybe I disagree with you trading down in the draft. I think you would have been much better off had you just went with, Terrakion or Sylveon or Clefable. And Entei probably would have been there in the second round for you.
Definitely.
And I think that Tangrowth, I know I drafted Tangrowth for 3 years last season, and I had to trade it away because I just knew that it was a terrible investment. I think you would have been much better off with I'm not sure, was regular Venusaur in the expansion pool, or was it on Kyle's team?
It was on Kyle's team.
It was
on Kyle's team.
Okay. All right. No, I was just curious because I definitely think that there could have been better options to Tangrowth. Which Tangrowth is a good Pokemon. I just don't think that you're going to be happy with it for 3 years. So that kind of,
I think on his team it's better than it was on your team, though.
Allowed me to probably grade lower just because I don't think that Tangrowth is something that's going to be useful for you. I do think that a good this was before you traded away Gyarados for Cobalion. I was thinking that you were probably a strong team for Chestnut to pick. I think Chestnut would have fit very well on your team. But yeah, I can't say that I'm in favor of your team because I think you traded down. Personally, from my point of view, I'd rather have, one really great thing than two mediocre things. Not saying that Entei is mediocre, but relative to Terrakion and such, yeah, I think it's just not worth it.
Well, I'm just going to respond to that and say when we traded for Gardevoir and Jirachi, you also had said that Jirachi was doing nothing for your team.
Yeah, I feel like
it
that was
all
a
of a sudden
terrible
went to
trade
my
for Nick.
team, and it started doing work every week. So it really does depend on who's using it and what sets people run on it. So I really don't think that your previous experience with Tangrowth really should factor into it too much. I don't think you used it effectively enough. I see ways to use it that you haven't.
I'm just saying, synergistically, it's not good for your team. You have a lot of other but ice and fire weaknesses that.
Well, he also just picked up Entei, and he has Empoleon. Like,
that's fine. I'm just saying he'll find out, in the season, and we'll all see how it does. I'm just saying. From the overview,
I'm going to politely disagree with you, obviously, but I respect your opinion.
Tangrowth has been hit or miss because I had Tangrowth season 1 and it worked reasonably well.
Tangrowth worked well for me a few times, and sometimes it did absolutely nothing. So
yeah,
all right, guys,
that's a good way to put it.
We gotta get, because like Roger and Miguel's drafts are gonna take quite a while. So
well, we all know like Miguel's is poop and Rogers was okay. So
all right,
do
but
we
we still
really
gotta
have to
talk about it? So yes, Roger.
Okay.
Since you're alphabetically first, you go first.
I mean, you mean since I'm better, I'll go first.
No, you're the Bronzongs.
Does Roger?
The Marill.
I was gonna say R does not come before M, but
no, Bronzongs
All right.
and Marill.
So, as many of you know, the expansion draft
Miguel.
was.
You've reached your time allotment. Let's go on to Miguel.
The expansion draft included everything that was on Kyle and Alex's team before they unfortunately left the league, and the rest was after.
Oh, fuck that Alex guy.
After all the other teams had already drafted. So my first 3 picks were things already that were already technically on a team, being Lucario, Crobat, and Noivern. I picked Lucario first round because honestly, I didn't think it was going to last until it got back to me. I was the 3rd pick overall. There wasn't too much to pick there aside from the obvious Thunderous Latios in the first 2 picks. But I feel like Lucario is just a good starting point for the team, so I decided to pick that one first. After that, I picked Crobat because it has a lot of versatility in a league like this, especially with its good speed stat. You can really do anything you want with that thing. It hits hard with Brave Bird, has Roost, Defog. It's just overall a great mon, I feel. And then to add to the backcourt, I have I got Noivern. I picked Noivern because I feel like Frisk is definitely a top 5 ability in this league, and also that, again, coupled with its good speed, it can also hit hard with Dracos and Hurricanes and moves of that nature. That's really about it for Noivern. So moving on to the second round picks, a lot of people say that I'm a better drafter in the late rounds, and
Is this kid still talking?
Come on, Joe. Let's let him get done.
I kind of have to agree with that because I feel like I just did overall better in the late draft. So my first 2-year pick was Spiritomb, adding to the Infiltrator core, which I obviously knew was relevant. Spiritomb, I feel like, just fit the team pretty well. So far, I had some fairly offensive things for my first 3 picks, and I felt like Spiritomb was a pretty good balance to those. With Infiltrator, Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, and Sucker Punch, Pursuit, and Priority. I think Spiritomb, with those moves and its great typing, was just a very good addition to the team. At this point, I kind of realized that I didn't have very much defensively, so I decided I'm going to go with a good water type that has recovery, basically the only one that was left. I picked Jellicent. I feel like Jellicent, obviously there's better options than Jellicent, but I feel like for the team, having 2 ghosts, 2 fighting, easy fighting switch-ins are pretty good. Also, ban Scald and...
I mean, you have 4 easy fighting switch-ins.
Yeah, but, I just feel... I
Fighting
just
time
feel
issue
like...
for your team, Roger.
Shut up. I just feel that Jellicent was a pretty good addition, also with Will-O-Wisp because burn things. And after that, I kind of felt like I would need an electric type, a Volt Switcher, just to kind of add a nice cushion to the team. A good one that was left was Magneton. It is an NFE. I am aware of this fact. I still feel like Magneton is, in some respects, a worse and in some respects a better Magnezone. And I really had no problem with picking Magneton. And yeah, and at this point, with my last 2-year pick coming up, I said I probably want hazards. So I picked a Mon that I was extremely familiar with, had hazards, and hit hard, kind of matched the way I like to play the game. I picked Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen I feel is fairly good for this format. It has hazards, like I mentioned, and just can hit generally hard with moves that don't even need stab because of sheer force. And I just feel like there was no reason not to pick Nidoqueen at this point in the draft, and I did. So, moving on to the 1-year picks. I picked Emboar for my first 1-year pick. Emboar, which at the point of the draft we had known that it was going to end up getting Reckless at a certain point within the next month or so. I thought it was too good to pass up, so I just picked Emboar. After that, I took Wobbuffet because it's something everybody has to prepare for. And then I picked Zangoose after that just because it hits generally hard, and if you're not prepared for it, it can really mess up a team. For my Mega Draft, I ended up picking Mega Diancie. I had a fairly bad spot in the Mega Draft, being 13th out of 16.
I mean, you still ended up with a great one.
It's true. But I couldn't really, plan for this draft because there was no possible way I could tell what was going to fall to me. And, I was told my spot was up, and I really wasn't sure what was left, so I went over all the Megas that were left and somewhat viable, and I decided Diancie being a fairy and having really good offensive capabilities, having good coverage, it was just generally very good in a league such as this.
Okay. So what'd you grade it?
Probably a B+. B.
Yeah, I agree. For what you had to work with, I'd say that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. For the things that you have, I think your team is actually pretty solid as far as not type coverage that you have, but things to cover other things on your team. The fact that you were 13 in the draft and still ended up with a Mega Diancie is pretty fucking impressive. I think you're gonna find that thing is one of the best mons on your team. I'm a big fan of the Crobat Noivern core because, like I said, Flying Spam is fuck you, Miguel. Flying Spam is. Okay, there's just a thing talked about by a lot of players, better players than me. Flying Spam is the best thing in the game because
it's like
there's nothing.
Poor man's bird spam, though. It's like no.
Right, Hurricane and Brave Bird are still okay. But
speed is so important in this.
Okay, hold on. Listen. The fact is, he has Flying Spam. He has birds. He has birds with utility and recovery. They are very versatile mons. While I understand that there are certain things that they can't hit, they can kind of shut down those things if those things cannot touch them. They're very versatile. He's going to find a lot of use for them. Sure, it adds a little bit of an ice and rock weakness to his team, but he has plenty of things for those.
I think that overall, Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I don't agree with neither the dual backcourt nor the dual ghost score. I think he had other. It's not bad that he drafted those things, but my main my whole point is that in a format like this, you kind of want all of your mons to do potentially different things, and I think that he has a lot of things that do very similar things, and I just think that it hinders his versatility when it comes to team building. But at the same time, like I said at the beginning, I thought he was drafting horribly, but then when he finished and I look at the team, it's a pretty solid team. It's a pretty scary team. He has a lot of speed. He has a lot of power. He has a Mega Diancie. He has a Zangoose, which is very scary. And I think he has one of the fastest teams out there, and it's very threatening because speed is the most important stat in the GBA. So it's a solid team. So
well, here, my opinion on what you said, Miguel, is that you say he drafted things that kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think when he starts to play and you realize that he's using those things in completely different ways, in ways that not necessarily you couldn't think of, just that you didn't because it's not your team and it's not your concern. When he starts using them in ways that are different from what you thought and they differ completely, like even Crobat and Noivern, I think you're going to be surprised.
I agree with Joe.
I just think that they're two Pokemon that are weak to the same things and are just speedy and frail. I'm not talking about move pools, and I'm talking about like the way they function, really.
I could go on your team and find two fast things that are weak to the same thing. That doesn't mean that bad picks.
We'll talk about Miguel's
I don't know. I agree with Joe.
I don't know about.
I just want to say one thing about Roger's team. I do agree with Joe, though. I do think that the things that look the same aren't necessarily, similar, but. The one thing I would have probably changed about Miguel's draft is that he may have wanted to... Rogers. Sorry. Maybe slip Magneton down and wait on that and try to get Emboar in for 2 years because I think Emboar is going to be arguably
I disagree with that so much.
But you value Volt
that's
Switch.
fair.
Magneton... No. It's not about Volt Switch. Magneton is a phenomenal Pokemon. In this league, the ability to trap... a steel type? The ability
to click Flare Blitz and 2-hit KO anything is also pretty valuable.
Okay, you have to consider that you have to consider if his opponent has a steel type that they have to bring and they know it can get trapped and damaged by Magneton, they can slap a Shed Shell on it, and that's that.
Yeah, and you potentially take away their ability to have any useful item on.
Guys,
okay,
we're not debating.
Magneton put so many mind games.
This is opinion of value.
We're talking with Roger right now. We're not talking with each other.
I think Roger.
Keep it strictly focused on Roger.
I think he's definitely in the B+ area. Magneton probably could have went down to a 1-year, Emboar up to a 2-year, because I think Emboar is going to be incredibly valuable and he's going to want it for longer. And then maybe explore a different option as an electric type. There were a couple left that may have been more versatile. Electivire, I think, is very underrated and could have provided a more...
Are you seriously saying that Electivire
absolutely.
is better than Magneton?
Absolutely.
No.
Guys,
it's way more versatile than Magneton.
Guys,
that's a fact.
Guys, we have to get through some more stuff in this video. We can't just discuss certain things. Like, we got to really speed this up.
So I definitely think that he had a solid draft, but maybe a couple of things he could have improved on. But overall, I think he did fairly.
Okay. Now, Roger, your draft was good.
Yes.
Good job, baby Roger.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good job, buddy.
Miguel.
Today you can have 2 cookies with your apple juice.
Okay. Yes. I would just like to remind everybody, we're not discussing with each other about people's drafts. We're discussing it with the person so they have a chance to defend themselves. We're not talking about what people could have picked and bouncing that back and forth. We got other stuff to talk about. So, with that being said, Miguel, what did you think?
Okay, yeah.
About your draft?
I got 4th pick in the first round. Well, the first round draft basically. But I still think that, in my humble opinion, I think that the best thing without a doubt was Thunder's Incarnate. But a lot of people were like saying Latios was going to get picked, obviously, but I think Infernape was the second best thing without a doubt, in my opinion, because it can do literally almost anything. It has duals. It has very powerful stabs on both physical and special. It has identical, attacking stats. It's very fast. It has priority on both sides as well. It has access to Source Dance and Nasty Plot. It has access to Slack Off. Come on, bro. It has access to Slack Off. It has access to Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, U-Turn. Like, it can do so the elemental punches.
It's a very versatile mon.
It's very good.
Yes.
I think it was very good for the GBA. I got the good thing about getting like 4th pick is that I always had the wheel pick going on, so my picks were simultaneous in pairs, and that means that I had to get extra draw. Not because not any synergy thought went into it. I just needed to get it because otherwise somebody else was gonna pick it because it was like one of the only spinners left, and it's the best spinner without counting Mega Blastoise in the game, so I had to pick that. And then I went with Rotom Cut, even though Raj said it sucks. I really needed it because my 2 mons, like I was very weak to ground and weak to water, and having a mon that could also switch in a mon that was Rotoms are very good. Most of the Rotom forms are just very good overall, and I think it was for what was available, what was left out of the electric types, I think it's a Pokemon that can fulfill. It can be offensive, it can be defensive, it has a lot of utility. And it's a Rotom, and it fit well typing-wise with what I had at the moment, and I think it was worth it for 3 years. And then on the 2-year part thing, whatever, I picked Honchkrow first because I kind of needed a fly. I needed both a flying and a dark type, and I needed something that could basically hit hard. I needed something that could, and I also wanted priority as well because I think you can never have too much priority. And I was wondering about picking Zoroark later on, but I kind of preferred Honchkrow, and I also had Braviary in mind. But I think Honchkrow, the fact that it has access to Sucker Punch, was just overall more valuable, even though it's more frail. And though it's not really that versatile, it does have access to Nasty Plot, and it has a pretty decent special move pool and a decent special attack stat, so I can also mix it up in that regard. I think it was a good pick, a potential sweeper too. And then I picked Omastar because I think Omastar, it's actually one of the... it's very overlooked because it gets access to all kinds of hazards, barring Sticky Web. It can put up anything, Stealth Rock Spikes or Toxic Spikes, and it can also be a Shell Smash sweeper as well. And it has Swiss Swim, which is good because Kote is a thing. And I think overall it's good. It's a Pokemon that it's also really good. Its typing is better than people think. Like it quad resists fire, and it has a really good defensive stat. So I could also mix it up too. I knew I wasn't gonna have the most firepower when I drafted. I was going to be a little bit outgunned, so I aimed for versatility amongst anything and synergy. So I think Omastar fit well. Then I picked Miss Magus because I just wanted a fast special attacker that wasn't weak to ground and fighting, and it turns out I have one that is immune to both, and it's also a spin blocker, which is pretty valuable if I want to take the hazard stacking route. It's good to have a spin blocker, even though it's probably not the best spin blocker. But it's also very versatile. I can go special defensive. It has access to Taunt and Will-O-Wisp and Thunder Wave and Nasty Plot and very good move pool, including Power Gem, amongst other things. Like it's overall, I think it fit really well, and it was amongst the fastest things that were available since Raj was taking all the fast stuff. And then the last one for 2 years was Exploud because I wanted a wall breaker. I wanted something that could just click boom burst and just basically 2 KO anything or close to anything. And then for the 3 1-year picks, I picked Smeargle because it literally can do anything. And it gave me, like, I may use it every game or I may not use it ever, but it could give me like that potential to basically do a lot of different things. Like if one day I go crazy and build a Baton Pass team or some shit like that, I could do that. Or if I want Sticky Web, I also have access to that. I have access to like so many things. It does die when you flick it, but overall I think it can do a lot of things. And it can also play a lot of mind games too. And I got Alomomola because Kanye West. I like a Kanye West. I think it did well for me in the D League, even though everybody said it sucks. But I think I proved them wrong. It takes hits for days. Its bulk can be spread on physical or special. It can pass off huge wishes. Has access to Healing Wish. Can HP Electric a Gyarados, and and I think it's pretty good at it. It can knock off. It has Aqua Jet. I can band it if I want to. If I feel real.
Yeah. Oh.
And then I got Weezing because I think that I wanted a team that could be offensive. I wanted a team that could go bounce, or I could even build a semi-stall if I want to, because Weezing has a phenomenal typing. Opposing type that floats. I don't know. It has access to toxic spikes, as well. I could in pretty decent move pool.
Weezing doesn't get.
I think it was
spikes.
Yes, it does. It got it this gen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm. All right, cool.
And Will-O-Wisp, and amongst other things, and it even learns gyro. I don't know. It has a good move pool.
Yeah.
And it's not the greatest, but I think it fit really well when it comes to typing. It really closed a lot of weaknesses. I don't know. It fit well. And then I picked the Mega that I really wanted the most. I was kind of, well, I mean, I can't say I was surprised, because there's so many good Megas that, it's not hard for me. I was expecting some people to pick it, but that didn't happen. So I picked Mega Gardevoir because it fits my team perfectly. I don't have a Fairy type. I don't have a Psychic type, and I did need a little bit of speed because I don't have the fastest team, and I did need a little bit of more offensive presence. And I think I can really pressure my opponent, because not too many things want to switch into Gardevoir, and the only things being Steel types, which both my Infernape and my Excadrill can handle really well. So I think that I don't have the most powerful team, of course, but I do think that I did the best that I could when it comes to synergy and such, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think I got a good team, and I can do a lot of different things with it. So yeah.
This is a pretty fair assessment. I personally like some of your picks. I actually am a big fan of X-Cloud. I can't wait to see what that thing's going to do in the GBA. It's going to boom burst everything. It's got Scrappy, so Ghost types are going to be hit by boom burst. Nothing can really switch into it safely, so looking forward to seeing how that'll be used. I'm interested to see how Smeargle will be used as well. I think that was a good pick, given it's only a 1 year, given it was late in the draft. It's really versatile. You did mention you could go Baton past 1 week. You could probably, who knows, Belly Drum Extreme Speed. I don't know, something like that. You could find something there. Support set. I thought Rotom Cut. I know I was considering it as well, but I think for your team, especially since you can always use more Volt Turn, I could see you don't exactly have a lot, but I think that helps your team a lot as well. And Excadrill, I think, is also a pretty solid pick for second round. You don't have the Sandstorm with it, but I think if you go against people like, I think Nick is the one who has Hippowdon.
Yeah, Nick took.
You can abuse Sandstorm. What is it? Sand Rush through that. So you do have some options with that as well, and it poses as your spinner. So overall, I think you've got a lot of things covered, and I think given the pool of the draft, it was a pretty good draft. A-.
Yeah, given what you had, I think your draft was really good. I think there's a lot of standout picks. I also think there's a couple that are questionable. I'll start with the questionable things first. You talk about Omastar and its ability to Swift Swim against Kote. The problem with that is every Swift Swimmer Kote has outspeeds Omastar. So really, that's a moot point. Yeah, you could scarf it.
Scarf Swift Swim.
But again, Omastar's better when it can switch moves.
It's a GBA.
I know, but Omastar's a lot better when it can switch its moves. So that, I think, is a bit overstated, but I do think Omastar's good. I just don't think in that situation it's going to fulfill the role you want it to, per se, but we'll see. Maybe it does. I don't know. I also didn't like you re-upping on Alomomola. I get why, but I don't know if your team you have now can support it as well as the team you had in the D-League. Maybe. But I just think the offensive presence you have now isn't nearly as threatening as the one you had in the D-League. But I also could be wrong on that as well. But I just think it's a bit different. Greninja was a lot faster than anything else you have on your team. Stuff like that. But the standout picks that I really liked, Mega Gardevoir I felt was really good value in the Mega Draft. I was considering it, but I just felt like it was a little too similar to Togekiss in terms of its typing and its vulnerabilities. I really like Rotom Cut. I know that spot is a bit questionable. Probably could have been a 2-year pick, but I was going to pick it up in free agency. I didn't feel like 3 years was worth it, but I was going to get it in free agency, and when I saw you picked it, I was a bit disappointed. And Honchkrow is amazing. I love Honchkrow. I think that's one of the best picks in the expansion draft. Again, Honchkrow was a free agent target for me, if Rotom Cut wasn't going to be there, but you took that as well. So, overall, good draft. A-, like Danza said. I feel like you did a pretty good job.
All right. I'm gonna.
Uh-oh.
Oh. All right. Let me finish. All right. So.
You just started.
Shut up. Anyway, I mean, obviously, it's hard to dispute Infernape Excadrill as his first 2 picks. I don't think anyone can say that those are bad picks at all.
Well, you don't know me.
Shut up, guys. Rotom Cut, as many times as I'm going to say, was a bad pick. It did fit your team quite well. However, I feel like you could have waited on it a little bit. I don't think anyone was too eager to pick up Rotom Cut, and you may have been able to secure something like Honchkrow or Exploud for 3 years. I feel like Omastar is going to disappoint you a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. Also, you're a bastard for picking Smeargle. And Mega Gardevoir is obviously a good pick, and also I see no Noivern switch in, so.
I just have a little bit to say. I thought you did really well in the draft. I really liked all of your first-round picks. Infernape, Excadrill, Rotom Cut.
All
those
of your
three.
First-round picks?
Well, the 3 round. What do you want me to call them? Your 3-year picks. It's the same fucking thing.
I just like to disagree with you, John.
I know you do. And then Honchkrow, I think, is one of the best things. I remember when I got into the GBA, one of the first things I said is, I can't believe no one got Honchkrow, and then you got it here. So I really like that it fell this far and you grabbed it. I think it's going to be one of the best things, at least picked in the expansion teams. And you will sweep at least one person with that thing. The one thing I'm worried about with your team is you only really have 2 bulky things. I mean, you do have Rotom Cut. Omastar kinda is defensively bulky, but Alomomola and Weezing, those are the only things that can switch into hits. And Almamola's bulky, you know, it has regenerated all these things, but it can't really hit back. People can set up with it. Weezing, it has good versatility, but it doesn't have much recovery. You can pain split, you know, obviously Black Sludge and all that stuff. But I think you're gonna have a really hard time if someone has multiple really big heavy hitters, unless you can outmuscle them.
The thing is, you'd be surprised at how bulky Excadrill can be, and Mega Gardevoir as well.
Oh,
on the special side, Mega Gardevoir. And Excadrill, the good thing about Excadrill is that his his stat distribution. If you invest it in the right places, that thing is really bulky. It can be really bulky.
Or you can attack an Assault Vest on it, too.
Yeah, that too.
Well, what I'm trying to say, I don't think you did a bad
job. No, but
I
understand your point. I agree. Like, I don't have the most... But I do feel like if I could actually build I could build a stall team, I think.
I really disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think I could.
The only thing I'm saying is I think you should have looked into a few bulkier mons with your higher picks and see if you could have gotten some of the bulkier things. I don't know if there was anything you would have really liked, but, you know, maybe, like, let's just say as an example, like, Roger went Spirit Tomb, Jellicent in a row. Maybe he shouldn't have taken 2 Ghosts in a row. I don't really know. But, you know, at least maybe one of those would have helped a little bit with one of those.
I prefer Alomomola to Jellicent, personally.
Well, that's fair. I just, that's my
I
think it was a great draft overall.
Okay.
I like Alomomola. That's good.
So I think we finally got through the drafts. It only took us an hour.
Okay, hold on, Gubs. Do me a favor and mark the time in which we finish. Like, pull up the Camtasia thing, look at the time, so we can put it in the description and let them skip between parts.
Okay, yeah. I'll do that. Timestamps.
Thanks.
Okay, no problem.
Save everyone some time.
Okay, yes. I know it also save time if you shut up, Roger. All right.
Whoa! So we're talking about the best. Okay, so we're doing best picks now. Are we doing best picks of the 6 people who are here, or best picks overall?
I think we should do overall.
I think everybody just pick one pick in the draft you thought was the best pick. It doesn't matter what criteria. Just what was your best pick. It could be your own pick. I don't really care. Just what did you feel was the best pick? So we'll start, because on my Skype screen, Danza's at the top. We'll start with Danza. What do you think was the best pick?
That's a tough one. I'm thinking hard here.
If you want to pass, we can come back to you.
Yeah, I'd like to look
Joe,
it over.
What do you feel was the best pick?
I think it's a toss-up between Miguel's Infernape and my Jirachi.
Okay. Do you have any reasoning behind that, or is that just how you feel?
I mean, I feel the versatility of each Mon is incredibly useful for each of the person's team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything out there. I don't see anything picked that stands out as an amazing Mon, just a good one. I feel like Infernape, like Miguel said, is incredibly versatile. I think it's kind of frail, and I understand that you can run a bulky one, so you give up bulk for all the amazing offensive things that it can do, and I feel like for me, Jirachi is just a really good mon for my team. I can't stress enough how versatile I think it is. I think it's going to do very well, and I feel the same thing for Infernape, because it's a powerhouse that very few things can switch into, while Jirachi is a mon that is hard to predict around because it can do almost everything. It can be special, physical, defensive, especially defensive. It can be a hacking set. It can just be a pain in the dick.
Okay. Next would be Miguel. What was your best pick you felt in the draft?
I honestly think that there were a lot of really good picks. I have to say, and there's no bias in this, but I have to say that Kote's Gothitelle is really big for his team. It's really scary. I gotta be honest. Gothitelle for that team, for such a team with such offensive presence, having a mon that can trap the one thing, it's scary. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Gothitelle on Kote's team is very scary. It's really scary.
All right, Nick, what was your best pick of the draft?
I will have to agree with Miguel, but the picks, the first 3 picks of the second round were all incredibly good, but I just think because of how late Kote picked Gothitelle, I think that edges it out because it's the best value and, the most impact.
All right, John Boy, what you got?
It's kind of hard.
I'm
going to go with...
In front of men.
I don't care.
Boy. Okay, I think I'm going to have to go with Clefable. The fact that didn't really fall as much as I thought it was one of the best mons just available in general.
Yeah, that's true.
It can do everything. It's Fairy's one of the best typings. It's so good. It has 2 really, really good abilities, Unaware and Magic Guard.
It's stupidly good. It's stupidly good. But I do think that things like Jirachi, for example, are better in this format. Even though Clefable is very good, it's not.
People always say how good Clefable is, yet it always falls further than people would think.
It does pretty shitty in the league, I think, too. Aside from
Unaware is swept. Invaluable. I think.
All right, guys, this is the Clefable analysis.
We can say that some things are bad. There's one Pokemon we're all thinking of that we know could do better.
Yeah, let's just get out of the way. Probopass was a terrible pick, Tom. Why did you do that?
No, that's not what we're talking about.
Worst we have a bad pick section. Come on.
No, we don't.
Damn it.
No, we don't.
I think Clefable is a great mon. We'll see how he does with it.
All right.
I think it's a great mon.
All right. Who's next? Roger. What do you feel? It's the best pick.
I'm going to pick one that hasn't been mentioned yet. I think Cooper's Hydreigon was a
Damn
fantastic pick for his team.
Yeah.
I think it really does everything he needed. It can, people underestimate or really just never see how bulky it can really be, given, Cooper's team building.
Mm-hmm.
It fits fairly well for his play style. And, if he needs a Specs Draco to be dropped, he can rely on Hydreigon. So.
All right. I feel it was a toss-up between Hydreigon and Gothitelle. I think overall Gothitelle is dirty on Kote's team, and fuck him for picking it. He can...
I don't have to play him, so...
I have to play him twice, so... There's that. Yeah, me and Roger are screwed, but oh well.
I have to play him twice.
Well, Roger.
Yeah, me, Roger, and Danza are all in Kote's division, and we all get to play him twice. So, not gonna be fun. I'm not looking forward to that. But Danza, did you come to a conclusion?
Okay, yes, I did. I got one for the regular draft and one for the expansion draft.
Okay.
One we already talked about was Jirachi. I really do think for a second round pick, Jirachi is huge value right there. I was kind of surprised that it did fall that far. I don't need to go into too much detail because we did talk about it, but for the expansion draft, I could go standard and say like Thunderous Eye or Infernape, but I'm actually going to go with Emboar because it was a great value late in the draft. Nothing can switch in safely thanks to Reckless. It has Sucker Punch, pretty okay bulk, and a pretty good move pool in general, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So now, we talked about some of the picks we felt were the best in the draft. What do we feel was undervalued in the draft? What fell farther than it probably should have?
Now, are we talking about the regular or the expansion? Because
we're talking about the entire draft. It could be it could be a mega pick. It could be anything you want. Okay. So we'll go in reverse order this time. Roger, what do you feel was
all
one of
right.
the most undervalued picks?
I'm not going to toot my own horn and say Mega D'Ancy, but
Don't.
It's hard to look at right now. Just
you can say Volcarona if you want to. I won't blame you.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to. So
Correct.
So for lack of more thinking time, I'm gonna have to go with Adam Chandler.
Okay.
Because I feel like that was something that was... Oh, it was a trade. All right, yeah. I'm really good at this. Really good at this, by the way, guys. Yeah, you should come back to me.
All right, John.
I mean, I already talked about it a little bit, but I definitely think Honchgro. I can't believe that thing fell in the regular draft again, but... You know, I don't know. I've always seen that it's like when I played a lot, it was one of the things that the top tier teams would use and everyone else would forget about them. And then those people would use it incredibly. You do have to predict. Like, you have to predict the substitutes and the roost and all these different things you can tack on, Heat Wave and other things, Superpower, Brave Bird, and Sucker Punch. So I guess it kind of depends on the player with how well they use it. But I cannot believe it dropped so far. And I think it's going to be one of the best things on Miguel's team by far.
Okay, Nick.
You can't deny Twilight Vampire.
Cannot.
For me, I think Gastrodon was incredibly overlooked there. I mean,
Especially
just looking at some of the things. Yeah, it wasn't on the best team last year, so it didn't really get highlighted. Like, it was definitely on a bottom 5 team. It was kind of like Kevin Love before he got traded.
Well, a top 5 team in the East is like a bottom 5 team in the West, so
yeah,
it's like the same.
So like looking around like at the things that were taken before it, Gastrodon's clearly a superior option and probably fills similar roles. So I think it's pretty surprising that it fell.
Okay, Miguel, what do you feel is undervalued?
I feel, I mean, it's very easy for me. I think that without a doubt, Mega Sableye. Mega Sableye is, in my opinion, the best Mega. And the reason I didn't pick it is because I felt like Gardevoir was very perfect for my team. But I think that I'm very shocked that Mega Sableye was the last Mega pick because it ensures it's one of the only Pokemons with access to Magic Bounce. It ensures that you're not gonna get hazards on your side of the field. It can set up on so many things. Unless you have fairy coverage, this thing can literally sweep teams, and it's very, very dangerous. And I just think it's the best Mega, and I'm very shocked that it was the last one. Honestly,
okay. Joe.
Mega D'Ancy, I can't believe that it fell to it was the 13th pick, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
right. Okay, yeah, right. So like the 13th pick, I understand it's got 4 or 5 pretty obvious weaknesses. There's a few things it can switch into, so it's not something that you want to be switching things into, even though it has great defenses. But the offensive capabilities of the thing, well, I'm going to give that it doesn't have great coverage, more so after the move tutors. There's not much to switch into it. That thing hits incredibly powerful. It is 160 in each offensive stats. It doesn't matter what you switch in to take a Moonblast. Are you going to take a stab rock move that boosts a defense? And I mean, it's like what? How much is Diamond Storm?
100.
100.
Yeah.
Right, 100. So you have a 5% chance to move. It's 100. It's basically Earthquake, Stab. It fucking and it hits on the defensive side that you would expect them on to not be hitting on. It's got some good utility moves. Magic Bounce is going to be really good. Fairy and Rock are good offensive. It's good offensive coverage, and then you can just slap HP Fire on it to hit Steel types. Also learns Calm Mind. I think it's going to be a really good mon for his team. I'm shocked that it fell to the 13th pick, but in a way I'm kind of not, because I understand people think that everything else is better. But I think it's great.
Okay,
Yeah, you mentioned HP Fire. Doesn't it get Earth Power via 2?
Yeah.
It does, but let's say somebody has
Scizor.
a Scizor.
Yeah, you have options, but like you can't.
Oh, but I
deny that,
I don't even think Scizor switches into a naive Diamond Storm that well.
Probably not. No.
No.
All right, Danza, what do you feel was undervalued?
I'm gonna say some. I'll say Cloyster. I think. I think Shell smashes really well. It can run a support set. It rapid spins. Heck, Cooper even ran Choice Scarf Cloyster last year. I was surprised that it fell to the last round in the expansion draft, especially given how well it went for Cooper and given the shallowness of the pool. I'm glad it got picked though, because I think it deserved to be picked.
Okay. So
that's true. It got picked last. Oh.
Yeah, that's actually.
Oh yeah.
That's a good call.
yeah, for
That's,
me,
that's surprising.
this is a tough choice for me. Like, I would like to say Volcarona, but I feel that's just too arrogant. So I'll say Vaporeon instead. No, I'm just kidding. I really feel like I was a bit shocked Megazord Y went where it did. I feel like it should go higher in the GBA. I get that in OU it's not quite as good, it's not quite as good anymore.
Well, right now it's one of the best right now, actually.
Yeah, it actually has rebounded a lot since Greninja got banned, especially. But I feel like Megazord Y is a bit undervalued in the GBA, and I feel like it should have been a top 5 mega pick. But I guess circumstance kind of dictated that. Like, Kote having the rain team pretty much meant Swampert was going to get picked in the top 5 since Kote was number 5. So I can get why it didn't get picked as high, but I feel like it definitely should have gone higher than it did.
I agree. I have to face that thing week 1, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah. So now we will be talking about.
Wait, no, I have mine.
Oh yeah, scrub, go.
I'm sorry. So after making myself look like a complete idiot, I have decided that. Wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow. I think.
Wait till we get to watch him play.
I think that Alakazam was a very
can't confirm. Alakazam sucks. Didn't even kill a Kofi
Okay,
Rodriguez.
all right, moving on. All right,
Oh my god. That's because you put Signal Beam over Shadow Ball.
Wait, when did it get picked, Alakazam?
It was in the late second.
Tom's last pick.
It was the 6th pick of
early
the third
third,
round.
early third, or mid third.
Yeah, that was a very good one.
Yeah. So all right, overvalued. Let's go. We'll start with Danza, since we started with him. Best picks. Let's go. You want?
Taking a look at it.
Promo Pass. Everybody say Promo Pass.
Yeah, that's
Well, no, we can't say that. It's defaulted because.
Yeah. Okay. Let's be.
Overvalued.
You can't say Promo Pass. That's a stipulation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it could have been like the 5th.
Tom's gonna be pissed.
I know.
I'm gonna go with Fortress. I'm gonna go with Fortress.
All right. I agree with that. All right, Joe.
Yeah, I don't think Fortress is gonna do very well in this format. It has very little offensive presence. Yes, it can set up hazards. Yes, it can rapid spin, but that can easily be sent away.
Yeah.
It has a glaring fire weakness. Yes, it's in a rain team, but once again, it still has no offensive presence. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing that holds it back. It shouldn't have been first round.
Okay. You there, Joe?
Yes, I am.
All right. What do you feel was
we on-
overvalued?
Am I the last one, or is there somebody else besides me to speak?
We just started this, so go ahead.
Can we skip me and go to me after the next one so I can give us a second? All right, thank you.
Miguel.
I would have to say probably. I gotta say it. This is gonna hurt you, but I think Skarmory's quite overvalued.
I agree with that. Honestly.
It's a good Pokemon, but I think it's overrated. I think it's overrated.
That's fine. Nick. Fuck you, Miguel.
I have a tie.
Oh no.
It's pretty much like a 4th of the first round. It's Entei, Blastoise, and Tangrowth are all tied for me. I think all of them are clearly late. They're clearly late 2nd round, early 3rd round, even late 3rd round, or expansion round
or
depth.
Not
I'm being a little hateful here, but I think Entei is clearly the best of the pack, but none of them have any business being in the first round, especially as early as 6th overall.
The nice thing about this league is that we can all politely disagree and then yell at each other while doing it.
All right, John.
I definitely have to agree with the Fortress one. I didn't even realize that was a first round. Like, wow, that kind of blows me away.
It was a second
I
round
used
pick.
it.
Okay.
Did
Roger.
he not have it? Did Cote not have first round?
Huh? No, Cote. No, that's actually not even a first round pick. It's a second round pick.
It's a second round. It's mid-second round.
It's mid-second round.
Well, then I'm gonna have to go with Tangrowth.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's a great mon, but along with like just having Glasgow on the team, I think really takes away from it.
Okay, Roger.
All right, I'm gonna go with Cooper's Aggron because I feel like it's just gonna disappoint him.
That's a very weird pick.
Cooper's not gonna.
No, you guys are you're both scrubs.
I just feel like Aggron is gonna disappoint Cooper when he wants it to do what presumably he wants to do, being on a
It's weak to two things, which is covered by many things on his team.
I'm aware, but I feel like when he does want to use it and has to use it, I feel like it's going to disappoint him.
All right.
He has quite a big fighting weakness, though. Even though he has a lot of things.
Don't agree.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Look, Lopunny, Ferrothorn. You got Chansey. You got Aggron.
Zapdos, Suicune, Zapdos, Suicune, Zapdos.
Like all of that's invalidated by Zapdos.
Zapdos. What about Terrakion?
Okay, that's fine, but only one person has Terrakion. So that's irrelevant.
No, but
all right, guys.
I mean, he has a big
guys. Okay.
Five Guys, burgers and fries.
Yes.
I had them once and it was weird.
We're not. Shut up.
Anyway,
you mean if I
Joe.
win,
Okay.
magic?
No.
Okay, am I?
Let Joe go.
Right.
Oh, it's Gubs?
No, go ahead.
Or
Go
Gubs.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. Am I picking this based off what others have said is good and I disagree and I think it's overrated?
Just
or
pick what you feel
I'm picking
is
it
overrated.
is bad.
Just pick.
I'm basically picking what I think was a
no,
bad
overvalued.
Bad draft.
Overvalued.
Overvalued.
Worse
All three of Steve's picks.
Okay.
I agree as well.
I think Meloetta is the best thing he picked. I think it's going to throw a lot of people off. I'm glad for that because I think Steve needs something like that. There was a lot of controversy as to whether he should be able to pick it. After he picked it, I don't care. I'm kind of glad he has it because, personally, because I have things for it, whether it's physical or special. But I think all three of his picks were subpar.
Damn.
All
right.
Mandibus. Yeah.
Mandibuzz is a solid Pokemon, but I've heard him go on so many times about, this is immune to Earthquake, this is immune to Earthquake, this is immune to Earthquake. That just means I don't have to bring Earthquake. and he picked two things weak to Dark.
So three other things immune to Earthquake.
He picked two things weak to Dark, which gives him a total of 4 things weak to Dark with, 2 resists?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're not counting Greninja.
Steve is, in the lowest.
Well, Greninja doesn't really resist
my, draft
anything,
grades.
though.
No.
Greninja's so frail; it really doesn't resist.
So I'll give it the Meloetta pick wasn't bad, but I think Metagross and Mandibuzz weren't very good picks for him at all.
Okay. I feel nobody even mentioned it, but I'm gonna say Pangoro. I get Pangoro's good. I don't feel like it's a 3-year pick.
I completely agree.
I feel like Nexus really could have used something else there. I just really think it doesn't mesh well with his team. He already had Bisharp, which hits harder than Pangoro in terms of dark type attacks.
And
Mienshao for the fighting type coverage. So I really think Pangoro was unnecessary. It's slow. I feel it's an expansion pick in probably the 1-year contract range. I really don't agree with that pick. I think Nexus is probably going to live to regret it, but we'll see.
I mean, it has pretty good.
It has an awesome move pool, but I just don't know how well it's going to do with it because it's so slow.
For a stall breaker, sure, probably the best thing he could have
But
gotten.
he has one of the premier stall breakers.
Yeah,
with
Yeah. I agree. Like synergy wise, I don't see it because what you guys say, like he has a bite. He has a fucking Bisharp enemy and shit. Like, why would you want a Pangoro? I agree with that. Yeah.
So now, the last part of this video, best Pokemon that did not get picked in the draft. It could be anything. It could be a Mega. It could be a regular Mon. Doesn't matter.
Does anybody have the big board? Does anybody have the big board so I can take a look at that?
Yeah.
I already got mine in my head.
I know 2 things I want to say, but I want to make sure I can see the big board in case there's something that I don't see.
I already know what I want to say,
board.
so can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Nick.
All right.
Somebody please the big board.
Statistically speaking, the best thing that did not get picked was Hariyama, but
I can't disagree with that.
In terms of what was on the board and what was still very, very valuable to be picked. I think Hitmonlee needed to get more attention. I think it's incredibly good. It's powerful with Reckless. It gets priority.
Yeah, I agree.
It gets a bunch of priority. It can spin if you want an offensive spinner for some reason. And I think that, Hitmonlee followed probably closely by things like Frostlass and stuff that are, really underrated. Take the cake.
All right. We'll go with Roger so we can get back in order here.
I can mention the Mega Draft in this, correct?
Yeah, anything.
I mean, pretty obviously, Mega Manetric. Probably the one that stands out the most, in my opinion. I mean, there's not much to say. It's just, there was no reason to complain that you didn't get a good Mega, especially when Mega Manetric wasn't picked. So that's about it.
All right, Johnny.
I was gonna say Machamp, but I'm just gonna say the other two, Nixon and Machamp. I think 3 really, really good fighting types. One, maybe everyone had a fighting type they like better, but I just cannot believe that not only did Hitmonlee and Hariyama go, but Machamp also went. I don't know. It kind of just blows my mind.
Miguel?
I'd have to say that first of all, the reason there's so many fighting types left is because there's a lot of fighting types. And I think everybody already had a fighting type, and there's no reason. I was well aware, for example, of Machamp and such, but there's no reason for me to draft another fighting type when I already have a fighting type. It's even Raj, he drafted 2 fighting types. Some people even have 2. So it's I think there's just way too many. There's a lot of fighting types, and it's just not. So I think. Oh, I don't know. I don't know who doesn't have one, but. The thing is, out of the original, what's left, I think Zoroark is a very good Pokemon in the GBA. I think it can really throw people off. George used them phenomenally in the D-League, and I don't know. I think it's really good because you can really play some mind games with it and bring a specific set to really screw something up and make your opponent think you're something else. I think it's really good. I wanted to draft it, but I sometimes I regret I didn't. And I also think that out of the Megas, obviously Mega Manetric and Mega Charizard X, I'm surprised that those 2 were not drafted.
Okay.
I agree with Mega Manetric, but not Charizard X.
Jow.
I'm going to try and keep this short. There's so many things that I'm surprised didn't get picked. For the Megas, Pidgeot, Slowbro, Steelix, Garchomp. Garchomp has not been picked for, 3 years? I think Garchomp is a lot better than people give it credit for because in something like this where you don't need the 101 speed that the regular Garchomp has and you trade that for massive attack and a little bit more bulk, I think it's more manageable than people give it credit for. I think it's a very good Dragalge didn't get picked. I'm absolutely shocked by that. I understand that it's slow. It's got a lot of weaknesses, and it's probably not the best thing to have. But Specs Draco is just not something most things can switch into. And then I guess the other thing I'm surprised about is Hitmonlee. I think Adam should have picked Hitmonlee and not Hitmonchamp. I guess he went with the more bulkier one overall. Hitmonlee's a lot stronger. It's a good offensive rapid spin. I'm shocked that it didn't get because even I considered picking. I was like, if I pick it, somebody else is gonna get it. So I don't know.
Roger, stop.
Roger, your keyboard.
Sorry.
Danza.
Oh my god.
Okay. I've got a few here. Joe did mention Mega Slowbro. I was thoroughly shocked about that. I remember Steve tweeted about Mega Slowbro being in the GBA. He was excited for it. I think in August or something like that he tweeted about it. So just given the hype behind it, I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Superior, I was kind of surprised. Knowing that it would get contrary, no one got it.
I'm glad that didn't get picked though, because I think a lot of discussion since it hasn't been picked is that we're going to need to vote on whether it can stay or not.
Yeah, I agree completely. But that's for
I
another
think
day.
we don't. We should. That's for another day, but we should do that because
people
might pick it up in free agency.
We will be doing that.
The last one I had was Dragalge. I hope I said that right, but
it's
matter.
That thing.
It's a Pokemon. Who cares?
Dimension!
It does have adaptability, so Draco Meteors are going to be killing anything not named things with fairy types. So,
all right.
It does 50% to a Spadef Bronzong. That's
it's ridiculous. Okay.
So those are my big surprises.
Okay, so I have 3 Mons. I'll be really quick about this, but I think 3 that are all in the same area, and they're all from the same region, ironically enough. Mesprit, Frostlass, and Yanmega. I felt every expansion team could have used. I think they all would have been awesome additions to their teams. They all have... Like, Yanmega just can sweep a lot of unprepared teams. Like, especially with, like, Tinted Lens. You don't even need to run Speed Boost. Like, Tinted Lens could be really nice, especially for the GBA. Frostlass, it has a decently powerful Ice Beam and Shadow Ball because of Stab, albeit it is still weak. Has Spikes, has Destiny Bond, Taunt. It's a great anti-lead. It could also function as a nice Specs user, especially with Trick. I think it gets Trick. I'm pretty sure it does.
I think he gets Switcheroo.
Switcheroo.
It's a new move this gen. Clearly got Switcheroo in 6th gen.
Okay, so it does well with that. It just has a lot of cool utility and decent power. It's not great, I understand that, but it's decent. And Mesprit is really versatile. I think it's underrated. It can be offensive or defensive. It's something I was looking at, but I already had a Psychic type in Celebi and a Psychic type that's pretty similar stats-wise, albeit move pool, it's quite different, but... I just didn't need it, but I definitely was taking a peek at Mesprit, and I really think that it could have been pretty useful on the team if an expansion team had decided to go that direction. So, but I think that's basically it. We covered a shitload of stuff. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. This was a
good.
Give
people something to watch.
Long ass podcast. So if you listen to this whole thing,
hopefully this.
Props to you.
There's the name for it. The long ass podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully this entertains someone when they're at work or something like that.
Steve will probably listen to it while it's at work, and then he'll hear me shitting on his picks. And to Steve, if you actually made it this far, I don't apologize, because when we play week 3 and I smash you, you're just gonna know that I was right.
Right.
He's gonna use Pincer. It'll all be.
I am so unafraid of that thing. I'm especially defensive.
He fucking said he'd
king.
sweep me with Pincer.
All right, guys. Last
with
thoughts.
a scarf pincer that could switch moves.
Last thoughts.
Yeah.
Danza, what are your closing thoughts on the draft?
Overall, I think everyone did a pretty solid job. Not too many complaints. There are certainly some teams that are more threatening than others, but you can't count anyone out. Looking forward to the season, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Watch out for Sacred Fireburns.
Okay, John.
I think this was the best draft. Like, compared to the other two, I think everyone collectively did really, really good. There's no one, like, not really any drafts that I look at like, that was really bad. Maybe a few teams were a little bit weaker than the rest, but I think there are so many people that just had a really, really, really solid draft that it's going to be a really good season. I'm excited.
Okay, Roger.
I think overall this draft was very, very good. I mean, being my first season in the GBA and not really having experience with the previous drafts, it ran fairly smoothly, which was nice, and nothing really else to say.
Okay, Nick.
I'm glad I picked up some power because my team was pretty much deprived of it.
I hate you so much.
I'm looking forward to getting a 6-0 against Miguel with a pout on, and it'll be fun.
All right, Joe.
So as far as how well everyone drafted, to some degree that is important, but I think in something like this, there are some not so good players with better teams than people who have teams that don't go head to head with that guy's team, but are much better players. I think while the usefulness of your team and how good everything is does matter, it's more about how good the player is, how creative they are, and we have plenty of people here that can do that. So while I think some picks were pretty bad, it doesn't matter overall. Because even the expansion teams, I think the expansion teams, given what they had, did pretty well. I really like Roger's team. I like most of Miguel's team. I have not looked at Andy Adams or whatever the Dan. I haven't looked at their teams. I have no fucking idea what they are. I just think that how well they drafted is less important as how creative and as good of a player as they are. So
yeah, I agree.
I think I think it's going to be very interesting. That's what interesting. It's going to be very interesting, is what I think.
Yes, of course.
So you pretty much agree with that, Miguel? Nothing else to say?
Yeah, I know. I think everybody,
interesting.
Well,
ellipses.
Yeah. I think everybody drafted well, and I think I'm really excited. I think it's going to be pretty cool, and I think people it's going to be really competitive, and that's.
All right. Well, I think I speak for everybody when I say we all want the AZ D-Oxys to win the championship. Goodbye.